I think, Dennis, we should start right off with the T-Mobile hack. What's going on? What's the update? I think previously we heard T-Mobile confirm, 50 million accounts, postpaid accounts, 50 million people who applied for credit with T-Mobile were leaked. And then I think we had 5 million existing postpaid, it was 7.8 million existing postpaid subscribers. What are the current numbers? What is the status update with the T-Mobile hack right now?
Yeah, so T-Mobile's confirmed it's actually worse than was originally announced.
God, oh no.
It's roughly 41 former or prospective T-Mobile 41 million,
Holy
former
smokes.
or prospective T-Mobile customers. So basically, if you were someone that was considering signing up, maybe you had your credit ran to see if you qualify for financing, you potentially could have been affected. Roughly 13 million T-Mobile postpaid customers were affected. 850,000 existing T-Mobile prepaid customers were affected, as well as 52,000 Metro by T-Mobile customers.
This is new. I originally thought Metro was a slightly different system, being more of an MVNO or a flanker carrier. Not good that they got access to that information. So unfortunately, Metro customers now as well need to kind of take some action and be a little bit more careful.
But what I find even more interesting is now we actually have a name to the hacker. We've found out who has performed the hack. And Stetson, I'm sure you and many in the audience are probably thinking, well, it was probably some really seasoned, experienced hacker, maybe from China, maybe Russia, some foreign government actor.
Maybe someone on the inside. I mean, I don't know.
But Stetson, it was a 21-year-old living in Turkey.
What? That's younger than me. That's younger than you. What is this person doing with their free time? Yeah, what do we know about this hacker? I guess what do we need to know? Was there malicious intent involved? What's going on? Has he gotten his Bitcoin?
Yeah, so the name of the hacker goes by John Binns. He's a 21-year-old who actually lived in the States and moved to Turkey a few years ago. His reason for the hack, based off his talks with Wall Street Journal, was more to get attention more than anything else. And there's been no confirmation about him getting his Bitcoin, nor has he confirmed if he sold any of the information. But basically, to make a long story short, he is not some seasoned hacker. This happened because T-Mobile's security was truly and sincerely that poorly set up to adequately handle these types of attacks.
Yeah, so this is a quote from the article. In messages with the Journal, Mr. Bin said he manages to pierce T-Mobile's defenses after discovering in July an unprotected router exposed on the internet. He said he had been scanning T-Mobile's known internet addresses for weak spots using a simple tool available to the public.
So basically, he probably used some website like a PF scan that just looks for open ports, and he found open port, say, 8080, pinged it, got in, and bada bing, bada boom, he did what he had to do. That's how insecure that setup was.
What's your reaction after hearing not only the news of the increased number of accounts leaked, but also learning who the hacker was and kind of the story behind that?
Three main reactions. One is I don't trust what T-Mobile says. I'm very cynical of them at this point, and I feel like the numbers are still worse. I don't think they're competent enough to actually determine what information was taken. Reason I feel that way is because of people like our good friend Sneed, who also have been reporting about this. And, T-Mobile said, for example, no financial information was leaked. Well, I know that's a flat out lie because people have reached out to Sneed talking about how their cards have been being charged. I know that Best Buy, my credit card company, notified me that my card information was stolen. So I know that T-Mobile was wrong. And T-Mobile hasn't said anything about it. So one, I don't trust what T-Mobile says. Two, this is beyond negligence. This is blatant disregard for any type of security. It is security 101 to not have your sensitive data just openly connected to the internet and be accessible to anybody, right? You're supposed to keep that stuff either offline or on an internal network behind the safety of a firewall with layers and layers of security like an onion, especially when you're handling this type of social security. And as I originally mentioned in previous videos, there is especially no reason why T-Mobile should have been keeping the information of potential customers. That information should have been purged if no sale was made. There was no reason why that information should have been stored, period.
Yeah, it's definitely disappointing and discouraging. How do you feel now as a current T-Mobile customer? Are you more swinging towards leaving them, or are you still like, hey, the service is great, I'm sticking with it? Just you personally, Dennis. I know you kind of like your Magenta Max plan, but I was curious how you were feeling.
I mean, the way I feel is like this: the damage was done.
Yeah.
And I'm not happy with how T-Mobile treated me at all. I mean, I mentioned in the comments of one of the videos when people asked me if I got my credit, I got a whopping $25 as a thank you for my loyalty, not only acknowledging the hack or any of the inconvenience. So I'm not happy at T-Mobile, and if someone asks me to recommend T-Mobile, might just for the nature of our podcast, but I would tell them to go with like an MVNO. Don't go through T-Mobile directly unless you absolutely have to have like that Magenta Max plan, right?
Sure.
So I'm not real happy with them. I'm real disappointed with them overall. And if you're a business or you're doing anything critical, I wouldn't trust them. Like if you're running a sensitive operation like a business, like I would not pick them. I don't care how good their N41 gets. Like that's the level of incompetence here is beyond.
Yeah,
like,
I personally feel just really disappointed and disheartened. I mean, I was loving the improvements T-Mobile was making for their network. They kind of rose up as this underdog carrier. I love seeing that, and I'm kind of sad to see that this hack took place, the poorly constructed back end. And Dennis, I was reading this comment on Reddit that you might find kind of interesting. It's from Reddit user Fandango328, former HQ employee here. After the merger was completed last year, the company's entire focus shifted toward being as profitable as possible. And you'll see that in the result of the current stock price. They did the McKinsey approach that Boeing did, tried to find ways of reducing costs as priority number one. Not customer service, not satisfaction, not anything like that. Work became incredibly difficult, couldn't attract quality employees, and there was a larger, cheaper workforce they inherited from Sprint. They couldn't spend money on contractors or purchasing software SAS tools because every purchase needed executive-level summary showing that we were saving the company money. So really, the work deteriorated. The work environment, deteriorated. That seasoned employees, managers, and directors were leaving. And yeah, so I think that was kind of the end of the quote from Reddit. I think to me, this really shows that T-Mobile's focus as a company shifted, and it's the result of that focus shift that kind of helped lead to this hack and that helped create the environment for this hack. I'm not going to say like T-Mobile was hacked under previous leaderships, right? And they've had other problems, but to me, this was really eye-opening, and it maybe, I feel like, gave a glimpse into the curtain behind what T-Mobile's doing, what they're thinking. And I can just say I hope they improve. But, as you were mentioning, when we were on Sneed's podcast doing a buy, sell, hold for T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T stocks, I don't love hearing that as an investor. Like, sure, the stock price is rising, but I don't believe in you as a company anymore. Like, I'd be leaning more into Verizon, AT&T.
Yeah, I mean, two quick things to say. One, I think that comment's great, and I think it does show in like the customer interactions. I mean, we've seen it, or at least I have personally experienced the deterioration in the overall customer experience. But we didn't get here today because of things that recently happened even as far back as a year ago. This is many years of due negligence. As mentioned, T-Mobile has had numerous data breaches and hacks prior to this. This is the failure of multiple series of leaderships under the John Legere era and under, as we like to refer to him as Sweaty Armpits. I don't remember his official name, honestly.
Highlight of the show right now.
But I don't remember his official name, but he's his CEO as it gets, man. He wears a business suit and stays behind closed doors, and he's not doing the important things that need to happen right now. I know for a fact that T-Mobile is going to have to change up the game, especially because we've seen T-Mobile focus on trying to acquire business customers, and they want to get those government contracts. And businesses and government contracts are not going to come your way if your security is this flimsy.
Yeah. Wait, are you talking about Mike Sievert? Is that?
Yes, thank you. I forgot his name.
Mike, we apologize for that.
I don't apologize.
Dennis does not. I respect you and would welcome you as a guest. But yeah, so I think that's T-Mobile breach. Dennis, what are the three big things people can do, and then maybe a couple extra things.
Yeah, so the things that you should be doing is you should be freezing your credit with the major credit bureaus to prevent people from opening up credit in your name without knowing. You should be updating your passwords and PINs with T-Mobile, as well as updating any passwords at any other sites in case you were someone that reused that password. And you should also be reaching out to your card companies or whatever payment method you had on file to get that changed if you were enrolled in autopay, because it is very much the case that information has been taken regardless of what T-Mobile is officially reporting.
Yep. And now this applies to Metro by T-Mobile customers and some additional customers as well. And no files have been stolen related to Sprint, prepaid, or Boost customers at this time.
As T-Mobile says.
As T-Mobile reports. Again, we'll try and keep you updated as the situation unfolds.